Well, I just wanted to share this picture I have up here, which tying back to what Jarvis was talking about with having both an alkaline and an acid within the same reaction and getting the voltage out of the differential between the two charges. That's what
Some
happened
some
in my
some
reaction,
combinations can get two, but those are
right? And
like weird. Yeah.
yeah, it has to do
Thank
with
you.
the exclusion zones in structured water, the works of Jared
Full
Polak.
battery.
And yeah, so what we're seeing here in this jar is the top is Cu3, I believe, or CuH3. So a copper trihydride. I always get those wrong, but a hydrogen compound, which is acidic. On the bottom part, you have copper oxide, which is the blue, and it is the alkaline aspects. And between the two, if you have insulated wires, one exposed in the top, one exposed to the bottom, you will get that voltage out of it as a structured water battery. So, yeah, just
Very nice.
water does
Would
it.
you want to join me on a alchemy session?
Absolutely. I believe that is long overdue, my friend.
We got to discuss it beforehand though.
Oh, for sure. We can
But
You're gonna
definitely
have to sign an NDA before.
Oh, that's great.
no, honestly, like what happens between me and Bernie stays with me and Bernie. I don't need an NDA. I love Bernie. I trust Bernie, so I
Oh,
don't
man.
like. I've yet to
appreciate
really.
you too, though.
I'm just
But yes,
saying.
it's a process.
Yeah.
It's a
All right.
process. Trust is built by
I would
faith.
love to do an alchemy session with you, honestly, dude.
Long overdue. I agree, and we shall. And right, it's always because it's like alchemy. When you read the ancient texts, it always starts off with warnings that if you disclose to the public, the uninitiated, they promise you death. So it's like, hopefully, there's not still around to kill us, but
you
you know,
you
gotta
did
let it
good calling let's say you know, you called them philosophical names, and if they don't delve into the literature, they wouldn't know what you were saying.
Yeah, very true.
You did so good. I'm proud of you, man.
So in this reaction showing right through the center of the triple copper coils, the oxidization happening basically, well, through the counter space point there and then flowing out. And you can see it coming from the first coil and then exploding out the third coil. So triple electromagnetic fields definitely showing an increase in reaction and productivity in this process. And oops, sorry, I went one picture too far. Here you can see some exclusion zones in this straight line there. And then that's when the top then started to turn into the hydrogen or hydride reaction, becoming acidic as the reaction goes on, and then the bottom continuing with the oxidization. And then this was later on after I stabilized it, and it turned the bottom first neutral into the white, and then at the top you can see the orangish red of the hydride starting to form, and a clear another exclusion zone here, and kind of up there. But how the charge separation and the alkaline acidity separations form as well is very fascinating within these reactions, and a key part when understanding galvanic cells, batteries, and how electrolysis and hydrogen production actually works. And now I got up some pictures of the monoatomics as well as the plasmid clusters where you see the purple. That was monoatomic gold and silver that was the white, pure white when I made it. Then I left it out the gold in the sun and it turned into the purple plasmid clusters. I left the silver out in the moon. It turned into the purple plasmid clusters and self-organized and bonded into these clusters. These
Got a
jars.
question for you.
Yep.
Have you ever exposed it to ultraviolet lights?
I have yet to. I intend to, but the sun does have some UV, right? So one aspect, but no, I do need to do direct UV light and UV laser when working with it. And just one last point in regards to this, it's I had just poured the top portions of this water out into the gardens using these for experimenting with my agricultural alchemy series, where I was getting increased yields from it. And that's why it's fully mixed regularly. The monoatomics and plasmid clusters will be settled at the very bottom of the jar, and then 95% of the jar's water will be completely clear, and that is what is called ionic water, and that is where the monoatomic and plasmids, whether it's gold, silver, zinc, copper, whatever you have in there, redissolves into the water and into what is called the ionic state, where one of the valence shell electrons collapses and bonds in with the water. And that is the supposed magic fountain of youth water combination with these elements. And that essentially it still is monoatomic atoms that are bonded in this ionic state, and it's often mislabeled as colloidal water, specifically colloidal silver, with this ionic water, and that is incorrect. Colloidal waters actually refers to the nanosolids at the bottom, and that is something you do not want to consume, especially if it's in an oxide or hydride form. It is the ionic water that has the properties, and which I've been testing and proving with the gardening with the agricultural alchemy and the increased yield of the plants.
I can't wait till we have an alchemy session. It's gonna be fun. At least you're going into the electroculture too. I think that's important.
Well, a little different than electroculture, but similar. And I suspect combining both processes should increase even more so the yields.
I suspect you're correct.
And then one last part in regards to electroculture, a lot of people are not aware that a key feature to make it work is when winding the wire, the copper coils, you have to do it in a counterclockwise fashion, or it won't really work. It's about the counterclockwise coils.
Hey, Bernie, when you say counterclockwise, is that one wire and then you're wrapping it counterclockwise around it, or?
Exactly. You're spinning your solenoid in a counterclockwise wrap, not a clockwise wrap. So the
And
inverse.
then you tell Sheila to play a chord through it.
That's definitely the next step of testing. I'm actually in discussions with her, and we'll be doing another episode soon.
Just say it.
On
That
that,
is-
you're hang on with that.
Able to replicate gold at some point.
I do also have a bunch of tungsten electrodes and lead to work on that specific transmutation process, but it is rather dangerous as the lead in the nanostates is extremely toxic and Yeah,
X-rays as
so
well.
exactly.
That's
There's
what
a lot
because
of dangers,
yeah,
So
Fleischmann and Pons, when they were doing their experiments back in 1991, 92, they had a Geiger counter. They were looking for radioactivity. What they should have had was a detector for X-rays, which they had no idea. So every time they did the experiment, they're getting blasted with X-rays. Both of them died of cancer down the road. So when you're dealing with high voltage stuff like this, take the extra precaution. Find out if what the heck you're emitting, if it's nuclear related or if it's X-rays. I'd be having some lead shielding around your experiment. So just take
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's funny. Some people wouldn't realize that there's a real risk of that, and they'll try to get involved, and people are like, dude, just be careful, because there are a very large amount of risks if you don't.
Huge health risks. And
even like some of the Don Smith stuff, be careful. You know, you're dealing with high
Yes,
voltage arcs. You could
especially
be,
Don Smith. Don
yeah.
Smith is like,
Well, what do you think he died
yeah.
from? He was getting fried. He was getting
Yes,
fried.
dude, he started fucking drooling,
Oh yeah, he had multiple
but he
strokes.
did it for us. He did it for us, though. I
Yeah,
love
but
Don Smith.
see that goes to show, as smart as he was, he didn't think about his health. What am I being
Yeah, no,
exposed
but
to?
he was a
Right?
pioneer. He
Sure,
may not have
sure.
known.
Same with Kenneth
and
Short.
so many are the
That's what I'm
pioneers, and
saying.
that's why
You
it
can
happened to
tell.
them. It also explains
Yes.
why a lot of ancient
Yes.
alchemists mysteriously died when working with
Yep.
this stuff too.
That's what
And
I'm
it's
saying.
the
You got to be
specific
careful.
reason why I have not done higher voltage, higher
Yeah.
energy experiments and reactions
No
because
doubt.
of these exact factors, and that I was specifically warned by Bob Greenier one of the first times I was talking to him about this,
Ooh.
about those side effects, and exactly that it is what harmed and killed Pons and Fleischmann. And
Yep.
it's like
Yes.
right there. There's
These
the
things we
evidence that
may
it
not
worked.
know. You know what I mean? Yeah, it is evidence in a bad way, Unfortunately, they didn't know the risk, but
Yeah.
they did it, and we know because they did it, so
Yeah.
they're
And
heroes.
that's part of the reason why I set up my lab in a storage container. You know, I had to get it out of the house because I knew I was going to be doing some stuff where I had to be careful, and I'm not willing to put my family at risk. Me, that's a
Yeah.
Absolutely.
different thing. I look at myself
Yes.
differently like that.
That's
But
what I'm saying. Don't
yeah,
jump into this unless you really get it, because it
yeah,
is dangerous.
yeah. Especially with
Yes.
the Don Smith
Listen
stuff,
to
you got to be
Mike.
very, very
Going
careful.
outside, you can't go bad going outside, though. I'd like to go outside,
Yeah, yeah. And a
And in
steel.
Sometimes
your
just getting
trailer,
outside.
your metal container, the shipping container, that's essentially a giant Faraday cage for
Yeah.
Faraday's
Mhm.
research. You know,
Yeah, it
There you go.
is.
Love it.
Yeah, that's it. Box myself in.
up here I've got some of my ice cubes of the ionic structured frozen water. These are the ionic silver water, which creates these vortex tornado lightning looking structures. And Mike, with your water structured water hydrogen machine, the next step now you got to do is start freezing
Yeah, I'm going to
some
try
of
to
it,
freeze
see
it.
what
Actually, I'll
comes
do
out.
that tonight. I'll do that tonight.
Perfect.
Bernie, we're going to square it up. I want to make it before the 2 hours so I can recut and do
Fair
more
enough.
stuff. I'll keep the
You only
chat.
got
I'll
2
keep
minutes.
I'll keep the backstage open. We go live to air again next Friday at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. Chat was amazing tonight. Very, very good chat tonight. Really, it was flying. Awesome
Yeah.
stuff, and we
Absolutely.
had a
Love you,
good audience.
Yanni.
Yeah,
Love
all
you,
our
man. From
Patreons, everybody
Australia.
is members, all the members. Thanks a lot, and yeah, we'll see everybody next week. Yeah, we'll keep the live chat going after we.